was a miracle. Getting to Wembley, getting into the playoffs was a miracle. Nobody gave us a else chance.
I remember the weather, if I'm honest. It was horrific. I remember a lot of traffic, and then sort of pulling up the ground and seeing lots of fans.
I can remember the game quite vividly, and I barely had a kick in the whole game really, because if you remember it, it was backs to the wall for a lot of the game, and we were just a real good unit that night. We didn't play particularly well. Tiles was unbelievable that night, pulling off saves everywhere.
We knew what they were about. We prepared for it all 2 weeks, and yeah, you could say we were the underdogs, but I mean it's anyone's game in the playoffs. It could be, I mean, you could be the favourites and you lose 3-0. You know what I mean? It's a lottery really. It's just how you play on the day, and if our big players turn up, or they go into the shell.
I wasn't as nervous for that game as I was for the Barnet game, really. I think it was like the whole, well, I was only 19, and I think playing at Wembley, you know, I'd seen that stadium over the years, and, you know, thinking, oh, this is a life's ambition. And I'm realising it probably 6 months into breaking into the first team, so I'm thinking, oh, this is great.
We went into the final massive underdogs. You know, Darlington was always favourites to go up there, the best players, the biggest budget, flamboyant chairman, great manager, and Gabardini, they had excellent players, and the final itself was unbelievable, because obviously at Wembley it rained all day long. I mean, unless it was on television, the game wouldn't have been played.
To be fair, we trained the morning before, so it weren't too bad, and I had a new pair of gloves that I was wearing, so a warming training. I thought, yeah, brilliant, I feel nice. Got to the ground, it was like a bar of soap. I couldn't catch nothing in the warm-up. I was getting frustrated and doing that. It was all the water was coming out me gloves. I said to Tony, I said, I can't catch anything. I kept slipping over as well, so I thought, this is going to be a good night, and luckily it was, I mean, everything was fine on the night, so.
Can't really remember much before what was said before the game, i.e. tactics or anything. I remember I started on the wing, and then when the game started, I remember Drew getting injured and then having to go back to left back. And I remember getting a bit worried then. Although I'd played left back all my career, I'd played quite a few games on the wing to start with when I broke in. And Drew had always been behind me, so I was like, oh, I've got to play left back. And it was against a guy called Neil Heaney. He was the right winger. I think he'd been at Man City, and everyone always used to say Gabardini was the Darlington's main man, but I know we'd always, you know, Heaney was his supply line really. So I was thinking, oh, I've got me, I've got to put a shift in here to stop it.
It was more of a mental battle than a physical battle, because we had to, because Darlo were a really good side back then. He had like some Marco Gabardini up front and that, and they were a really good side. We had to fill the gaps and defend like with 2 backs and 4s, Baz company on the night.
We're very disappointed with the first half. I thought Darlington dominated, and I'll give the lads in at half time. I just said we ain't turned up. You know, we've got 20,000 fans out there coming a night like this. You know, you've got to give them something to shout about.
Gabardini! What a save from Tyler. Brilliant. Great break. Gabardini thought he found the ball.
Didn't see it till late, and that's why I dived backwards, and to be fair, it came off my little finger, so I was delighted, you know what I mean. I turned around and thought, well, that could be a turning point, and look, we scored, what, 5 minutes later.
When Clarkey played that 1-2 with the goalie and scored, it was absolutely fantastic.
Little man gets it back across, and through to Clark again, and it's stopped again. Clark, and this time he's done it. Peterborough take the lead. Barry Fry goes off on his usual celebration. Delight for the Peterborough manager, because at last the barrier's been broken.
He's a big game player, wasn't he? He scored some really important goals, and I just knew he was going to put it in.
I ran somewhere over, because I think our crowd was that side, so I ran to the touchline, I think, if I remember rightly. So.
I suppose it wasn't a spectacle for everybody else, but you know, while we were on there, I remember thinking, wow, it was just pure concentration. You had to concentrate. You can't let these in. You know, one moment slip and they might score, and then you know you never know what's going to happen. So that was just just saw the game out, end final whistle, and it just felt such a relief. That's what it felt like, just a huge relief.
Reviled earlier in the season when his team had slumped down to mid-table, revered now as he's led them into the second division.
Wish I would have said, you know, if I had my head on me what I have now, then I think you just savour every moment. As a young lad, I was just thinking, well, as I said, it was thrust in to the first team, and within 6 months I was playing at Wembley, we got promoted, and just thinking, oh, this must be normal, this is what's going to happen every season, really. So you don't really take it in, and that's the biggest regret I have, really, is not taking in what we achieved, really.
I don't think that the players got the credit they deserved for getting promotion that year.
Stuart Bernot from Nationwide hands him the trophy that signifies that in the third division playoff final, this is Peterborough's year.